So another idea that you can give here, that you can think of is, as I said when I initially drew this, that at the highest point what is happening? Whenever a body is at the highest point, what happens? Its velocity momentarily becomes 0, right? So we had this equation for velocity along the y-axis, that obviously the initial equation is v equals u plus at. So the final velocity along the y-axis is the initial velocity along y-axis minus g times time. Now final velocity at the highest point, at h max, that becomes 0. So what is the initial velocity? We told it, it's v0 sine theta minus gt. Therefore from this expression you can find out time, which is v0 sine theta divided by g. So now we have an expression for time which is independent for x. This is the time it takes for this particular projectile to reach the maximum height. This is not the time it takes to reach any random height. For that we will have to try for different values of x. This is the time it takes simply to reach the maximum height, and we are trying to find out maximum height. Now if we substitute this value of time here, we get maximum height is equal to v0 sine theta into again v0 sine theta by g minus half g into this thing squared. So v0 squared sine squared theta by g squared. So what do we get? We get v0 squared sine squared theta by g minus v0 squared sine squared theta by g times half. So as you can see, therefore this becomes half of v0 squared sine squared theta by g. So therefore I shall write it down clearly in this portion. That therefore the time of flight, that is the time for which the body or the projectile is in air, that is equal to 2 times this time, that is 2 v0 sine theta by g. Why 2 times? Well, this is the time, as we said, it is the time that it takes for the projectile to reach the maximum height. But from there it has to come back to the ground. And since this motion is taking place symmetrically in the absence of any friction or air resistance, the time that it takes for the projectile to reach the maximum height is same as the time it takes for the projectile to come back to the ground from the maximum height. It's just like mirror images of each other. Therefore the total time is simply twice of this. And if you talk about the maximum height to which the projectile can reach, that is equal to v0 squared sine squared theta divided by 2 times g. One final thing that we have to find out, as you can see, is this range. So now we shall be finding out the range. What will be the value of range? Well, as you can see, range is something that's taking place along the horizontal direction. So range is basically the velocity along the x direction into the time for which the projectile has been moving. So it is simply v0 cos of theta into this expression, that is 2v0 sin theta by g. So this entire thing becomes v0 squared by g times 2 sin theta cos theta. Now when you shall be studying trigonometry, you will know that this expression 2 sin theta cos theta can also be written as sine of 2 theta. You can try it at home as well. Say you take 30 degree, you put in your calculator sine 30 into cos 30 into 2, and then whatever value you find, you will see it is exactly same as sine of 2 into 30, that is sine 60. Similarly, 2 times sine of 37 into cos of 37 is same as sine of 2 times 37, which is 74. So this kind of expressions for the time of flight, for the maximum height, and for the range, you must be remembering this. But obviously you should also remember how you derived them. It is equally important. I shall be moving on into the applications of this projectile motion, certain real life problems, what happens if there is friction and all those topics. in the next class. But one thing that I would like to conclude on, one note is that this is for the first time that you have done a really good, a really proper derivation in your plus 2 for the first time. So in plus 2 there are a lot of derivations, both in class 11 as well as in class 12, and while those derivations are difficult and intriguing for some students, some other students find them really interesting, motivating and challenging. So this is one of those derivations which is really very challenging and motivating. I find it very exciting, right from the beginning of drawing the projectile to forming the equations, then finding out the equation of motion of the projectile, and from there on finding out these offshoots like what is the range, what's the maximum height and what's the time, and all of these based on those 3 simple equations which you did way back in class 8 or 9. It's simply elegant. In the next class we shall resume from where we leave today. Thank you.